Alright, so obviously it's a bit awkward that our AI immediately gives up when you leave his site, so let's have him investigate the area that he found the player in. So we need a new boolean for this, so let's go to our Blackboard where we can add a key of type bool, and we will call it isPursuingPlayer. So we have our two states, is pursuing a player and is not pursuing a player. And we can use the combination of these two booleans. So if we can see the player, we will always be pursuing the player. So if this one's true, this one also will always be true. But if we can't see the player, we can still be pursuing the player, which will put the AI in an investigative mode, or we can not see the player and not be pursuing the player, which is just in its patrolling state. So let's go to our behavior tree, and we need to add a selector above can see player. So add a selector, and we will call this is pursuing player. And below this, we will add the can see player. And we're going to rename the cannot see player to is not pursuing player. So we have our is not pursuing player, which is just the patrolling. And then if we are pursuing the player, we can either pursue when we do see the player, which is chasing him, or pursue when we don't see the player, which will be investigating. So for the is not pursuing player, let's change this Blackboard condition from can see player is not set to is pursuing player is not set. And let's add a Blackboard to this one, add decorator Blackboard to is pursuing player is set, and observer aborts will be set to both. So now we just need to add a path for if we are pursuing the player, but we cannot see the player. So let's add a sequence, and this one we will call what the last one was called, cannot, oops, if I can type, cannot see player. And let's add a Blackboard, decorator Blackboard, and we've already added this, can see player is not set, observer aborts both. So what do we want our AI to do when we are pursuing but cannot see the player? First, we want the AI to go to the last location that they did see the player. So let's add a task for that. So new task, BT task, blueprint base. Go into our content browser, AI, classic, and here we have our new one. We'll just call it BT last player location. Having trouble with that caps lock today. Put it into tasks. I'm going to close a few things that we don't need. So here we are in BT last player location. As always, receive execute AI. We will cast to the L1 character, which is of course the character we're playing. Object will be get player character. And we just want to get its location, and that will be set as the last seen location. So what we will do is set Blackboard value as vector, and we're going to set the target location key. So promote key to variable, target location key. Very important to remember to make it editable. And then as L1 character, we will get the actor location, and that will be our value. And let's just add a finish execute here with a success to true, and on cast failed, a success is false. Okay, so let's put this in our behavior tree. So last player location, and we want to make sure the target location key is set to target location, which it is. And then we just want to move to this last location, so we will get a move to. And we want to make sure the Blackboard key is target location again, so we move to our character's last location whenever this is run. And before we start searching, I want to set his speed from running to walking. So we will get the task, set speed, and I'm gonna change it to 225. And we never changed it back to 450, so I'll do that now for when we can see and are pursuing the player. So we set it back to walking once the AI is just looking for us. Now we need a task just to search around a little bit for the player. So we will add a new task, BT task blueprint base as always, content browser, rename it BT, search for player, put that in tasks and go into it, execute AI, and what we want to do is just have it look around in a radius from where we last saw the player. So we will first set a Blackboard value as vector. Just get this out of the way. The key will be the target location key, editable of course, and the value will be a random location inside a radius based off the player's last location. So we will get the node get random location in navigable radius, and the origin will be our target location key, and then get value as vector, because our target location is already set to the player's last location. So we'll use that as the origin. For the radius, we can promote this to a variable. We'll call this search radius, and we'll make it editable, so we can just make it whatever we want inside the behavior tree. As default, I'm going to set it to 250. And after we're done, we want to make sure the random location is plugged into the value for setting the new target location, and then once we're done, we will finish execute with the success being true. Okay, so I also want our AI to search for the player a total of 3 times before he gives up and goes back to patrolling. So after setting the speed, we want to add another sequence. And we're just going to call this loop search. I can spell. So we're going to add a decorator to this, but not of type Blackboard, it will be of type loop. So this will loop this sequence a certain amount of times. So we click on the Blackboard, we can choose how many times. It can be infinite, which we don't want, or we could just choose a number. And I'm going to keep it at 3, so we do whatever is in the sequence 3 times before it goes to the next, or if there is nothing next, goes back to the beginning of this sequence right here. So the first thing we want to do in this loop search is call our search for player. Make sure target location key is set to target location, and we can change the radius if we want. And then after we find a location in there, we want to move to that location. So make sure the move to is set to target location. And then we want to wait a couple seconds to make it feel more natural. So let's say I want him to wait anywhere between 2 to 4 seconds. We can make the wait time 3 with a random deviation of 1. So it'll go anywhere between 3 minus 1 and 3 plus 1. So anywhere between 2 and 4 seconds. And then it'll loop back around. After the loop is done though, we want to give up is pursuing player. So we need a new task for that. So new task, BT task blueprint base, go into content browser to rename it BT set is pursuing, move it into tasks, and as always execute AI, and we're just going to set Blackboard value as bool because we want to set the is pursuing player to be false. So we want to promote the key to a variable, and we will call it is pursuing player key. make it editable, and then I'm going to promote the value as a variable as well, make it editable, so we can use it to both turn on and off the isPursuing variable. Then we'll finish execute as a success, and that is all we need to do in there. So let's go to the behavior tree, and after we loop 3 times, the next thing we want to do in the sequence is give up. So if we go to tasks, and we can set isPursuing. isPursuing player key needs to be isPursuing player, and the value we want to be is false. So the value is false, isPursuing player becomes not set, so it'll switch back to isPursuing player is not set, and come down here and continue patrolling. Now, one last thing before we continue is go back to the AIC Classic, and when we see him, we need to turn on isPursuing player to true. So we can just duplicate all of this. Oops. Which is, on target perception updated, successfully sensed. We set can see player to true. We also want to set isPursuing player to true as well. So let's go to Blackboard. I'm going to copy and paste just to make sure I spelled exactly right. So both of those are set to true. And then when we stop seeing the player, can see player is set to false, but isPursuing will stay as true so that it can go down this path, and if it doesn't find him in this time, isPursuing will be set to false. So to kind of show you how this works now, I'm going to separate these just a bit more. Oops. So it's a little easier to see what's going on. And I'm going to pull this to the side. You won't really be able to read what's going on, but if you can remember the positions, we're going to play, we're going to see what's happening. So he chases us immediately, and once again, I'm not going to lie, it kind of scared me a little bit. So I'm going to start down here instead of up there, so we can see he's patrolling. And we got to see if we could find a way to get him to see us, and then get back out of sight. So he should be able to see us from there. And then if we can get out of sight, he goes to our location, but then he saw us again immediately and came back to us. So what I'm going to do is when he's chasing us right here, I'm going to set the speed back to 225 to make it a little easier on ourselves. And let's try this again. So he'll only walk. So, in fact, I have a great idea. Let's pull in, let's go to Blueprints, Actors, and hide actors. So let's pull in this locker, and we'll hide him here for now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spawn right here. You can see in there he's wandering around. Now if we can get him to see us, he's chasing us, and if we can get out of his sight, if you see in the lower left there, he is patrolling. So I'm gonna actually eject out of my player, and let's find where he is. And he went to the last seen location, and right now he's waiting, and then he should, oh, I think we missed it. So I think it did all 3 when we weren't looking. So let me try this one more time, see if we can do it a bit faster. So let's have him see us. He's chasing us, he's chasing us. Now he's searching for us by going to the last location. Shift F1 and eject, and watch him. So we went to the last location. He's waiting for 1 to 3 seconds. He's searching again. He's looking around. I don't know if that was 2 or 3. That was 3, and he has given up. So he's going back to his patrolling. So this actually works really well. He searches around for us when we look. You can make the radius a bit bigger because he just kind of takes a few steps left or right. And if you wanted to do that, you would just come to right here, search for player, increase the radius to have him look around for us. If you want him to look around a little longer, you can loop it up to 5 times, and we can kind of see how much customization we're starting to get over our AI, which is really great. Shift F1, I will eject. It's going to the last seen location. He waits. He looks around. He chooses a random spot inside that radius. Chooses a random spot. That was 2 or 3. Let's see if he chooses another random spot. He's looking around for us. He knows we're around here somewhere. I think that was the last one right there, and he should go back to patrolling. And there he goes. He has given up. All right. So now we've made it a bit more realistic for the AI to search for us, which is really great. That's going to be it for this episode, and I will see you in the next one.